Welcome back to Adventures in Freeze Drying, and today my video is going to be a freeze drying supplies hacks video. I love freeze drying supplies accessories. They have definitely been a game changer in my freeze drying, but there are some great things and unintended uses for their products that make them even better. So I'm going to share with you some of these unintended or additional uses for the accessories from freeze drying supplies today. To really help you see what I'm talking about, I'm going to aim the camera down at these supplies as I work with them and explain to you how this hack works with these accessories from freeze drying supplies so you too can make use of these hacks. I purchased 2 extra sets of lids when I purchased my freeze dryer, but sometimes, especially if I'm running candy loads and I've got something else I want to have freezing over 24 hours, I don't have the trays to be in the freezer, and the spot in my freezer that is cleared to freeze food is the size and shape of my Harvest Right trays. Right? You put those in the freezer and they're a certain size and shape, and that's the room you have. But I'm out of trays. Everything's in the freezer. Guess what? If you're using molds, especially molds or something else that will hold its shape, you can easily just put those things right on a lid. The stackers will actually fit right on the uprights that make these stackable so your trays don't slide all over the place when you're putting stuff in your freezer. And then you can simply just put another lid right on top. More product, and woohoo, I now can get layers in molds in my freeze dryer, or if it's something that'll hold its shape and I don't have extra trays. So this has been wonderful for me because I already have these things and it works. I have noticed when using molds that some of these are just a hair taller than the tray. And because this is a hair taller than the tray, it causes me some problems. If I want to put a lid on this, when I go to put my lid on and I get it snapped in place, I've got liquid all over my lid, and then you go to pull this up and what's frozen is now sticking to your lid, and what a mess. The great news is that the lids will go on top of stackers. So if you put your stackers on your tray, and I want to be able to get multiple trays full of molds into my freezer, I just simply put my lid over the stackers, and then because the lids don't allow my trays to slip, I just put the tray on top and I get my nice stack of stuff on my trays and it's ready to go. So maybe not even just with molds, but if you have something that's just up a little higher, and sometimes my blueberries or my apple slices and stuff are a little bit high, this is a great trick for still already having them on the tray ready to freeze, but not having them stick to your lid. If you haven't bought the freeze drying supplies lids, but you have bought the stackers, you can still keep this from sticking to that other tray by simply putting a second stacker on top of your already in place stackers. They will lock in place. They seem a little loose when you don't have the other tray on there, but once you get the tray in, they lock in place. And again, this allows you to carry the whole stack of whatever it is you are taking to your freezer without having a tray slide off. And it keeps this up so the food that's on this tray isn't sticking to the bottom of this tray. So I definitely have this issue, apple slices, blueberries, that type of stuff where things might stick up a little bit higher and I don't want them stuck to the bottom of that tray. This works fabulous. If you haven't tried the pre-cut parchment yet, oh my gosh, I love the pre-cut parchment. One, because it's super simple. You simply just take your piece, voila, it's in. It's like, oh wait, I have to get my parchment. It's not cut. I already have stuff ready to go, blah, 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 whatever. Nope, you just pull it out, it's ready to go, you go. You can also, however, use this on top of. So let's pretend these are apple slices and I want to keep them from sticking to my lid. So I put a piece of parchment on top, and now I either use my stackers and put another tray right in, or when I put my lid on, we'll keep those berries or those apples from sticking to your lid as well. So not only can you use it on the bottom of the pan, but you can use it on the top of the pan, on top of your food as well. And you can also use this to layer. I like to layer my apple chips. This allows me to layer my apple chips without my apple chips sticking together. The freeze-drying parchment that's pre-cut also lets you know the size of your tray. So again, if you're out of trays for freezing in and you have something that will hold its shape, apple slices, whatever, you can put a parchment paper down and you can put whatever it is you want to freeze dry that's going to hold its shape right here on this parchment and get it frozen solid, even though you're out of trays and you have limited space in your freezer to put your trays. It needs to be the right shape. This will also work and allow you to very carefully lift stuff up and move it to a tray when you are ready to. It's not always easy, but once it's frozen, you would simply find those corners, make sure you kind of pull tight, and you can transfer stuff over to a tray using that parchment. So you froze it on something else, and now I can move it on the parchment. I am just curious if some of you are using freeze-drying-supplies.com accessories. What's your favorite accessory? Have you found other uses for some of your accessories besides what their intended purpose was? Let me know in the comments below. You'll also find a link directly to freeze-drying-supplies.com below. Thank you so much for joining me on Adventures in Freeze Drying, and we will see you next time.